Snoke theories have been around since well before The Force Awakens even came out, and of them the most popular has easily been the idea that Snoke is actually Darth Plagueis the Wise. Personally, I loved this theory not only because it further tied the three trilogies together, but because it legitimized Supreme Leader Snoke as a big-time threat for our heroes to face off against. Unfortunately, know this theory to be wrong. Pablo Hidalgo of the Lucasfilm Story Group came out and said a while back that Snoke is not Plagueis and there were no Sith in The Force Awakens. Problem with that announcement is that it spawned tons of new theories. Some, I'm sorry to say to the people who want to believe them, are so out there that if you stop and really think about it, they have about a 0% chance of being true. Yeah, and I'm looking at you people who think Snoke is Mace Windu, unless he grew in height, radically changed his voice and appearance, and regrew his hand that Anakin cut off. Anyway, now any good Star Wars movie theory has to keep one thing in mind. It has to be fairly easily understood by the masses. Most of the people who go and see Star Wars movies are casual fans at best. For some, Episode 7 may have been their very first Star Wars movie, and although they're excited about seeing 8, they have little interest in going back and watching the other 6 movies. Even a lot of the more hardcore fans don't watch Rebels, even though you should, it's a great show, or read all the comics or all the novels or keep up on all the other sources of canon. And that's okay because you'll never need to. The stuff beyond the movies is there to simply enrich your enjoyment of Star Wars, to tell stories that the masses don't need or care about. They will never be a requirement to understand the movies, just something for the people who love Star Wars that damn much to consume, and for Disney to make a little extra cash when they're not making billions on the movies. Okay, with all that being said, does the theory I'm about to propose fit the criteria of something that the masses can understand? Well, yes, for the most part. Honestly though, before I even get into it, Snoke will likely be a totally new character with a story that no one can even guess at right now. And he'll be revealed to casual and hardcore fans alike during Episode 8, and then a whole slew of comics and books will come out to flesh it all out for the hardcore fans to digest. Anyway, my theory is this. Though not officially confirmed, it is heavily implied that Anakin Skywalker was the creation of Darth Plagueis, the master of Darth Sidious, aka the Emperor. We know this from the Opera House scene from Revenge of the Sith, one of the best scenes in the prequels, if I may add. Palpatine is talking to Anakin about Plagueis being so powerful that he could even create life, and as he's saying that, he turns and looks right at Anakin as if to say, "You know I'm talking about you, right, kid?" Anakin, of course, seems completely oblivious and the scene goes on. Now, if you don't remember, Shmi Skywalker, Anakin's mother, claimed there was no father and she couldn't explain what happened. Now, I've got another theory on what exactly may have happened, but now's not the time to get into it, so I'll simply move on. Okay, now assuming Anakin was indeed the creation of Plagueis, who's to say Plagueis didn't create other life? Like Snoke, for example. If I had to guess, he was trying to create himself the perfect apprentice, one to replace Palpatine who was becoming too powerful and who he feared, rightfully so, would kill him someday. It's kind of the Sith way if you didn't know. I'll even go as far as to say that at some point Snoke and Palpatine fought, maybe after the death of Plagueis or maybe before it, who knows, but it was this confrontation that left Snoke deformed, as we see him in The Force Awakens. Snoke may have been an early attempt created long before Anakin, and his ultimate test may have been to face off against Palpatine, a test he failed which led Plagueis to try again, which is when of course he made Anakin. But as Darth Maul has taught us, if you have enough anger and hate you can survive pretty much anything. So what if a defeated Snoke went into hiding after losing to Palpatine and studied on his own, rejecting the ideas of the Sith and becoming a new type of darkseid user? What if he created the Knights of Ren during this time? What if he even helped the Rebel Alliance in some way defeat the Emperor, his nemesis? Sound crazy? In The Force Awakens, Leia says about her son, Ben Solo's turn to the dark side, that it was Snoke, kind of implying she knew who the guy was. This could also help explain how Snoke turns Ben Solo to the dark side in the first place. He may have told Ben Solo the truth about his grandfather, how Anakin Skywalker was created by Plagueis, and that he, Snoke, was also created by Plagueis, making him almost a brother of Anakin in a weird sort of way. So, is this all too much for the casual moviegoer to understand? Maybe, but maybe not. All we would really need is a scene in Episode 8 between Rey and Luke where she asks, "Who is Snoke?" Luke could reply, "He was created by a Sith Lord named Darth Plagueis the Wise, the same Sith Lord who created my father, Anakin Skywalker." This one line finally puts to rest any doubts about Anakin's true origin and legitimizes Snoke as a real threat since he is, in essence, another version of Anakin Skywalker and conceivably as powerful as him. The conversation also doesn't need to end there. Rey would likely reply she doesn't understand, to which Luke would rehash the fact that Anakin had no father and so on and so forth, which would be a nice refresher course to casual fans and enlighten newcomers about where Darth Vader originally came from, whether you like it or not. Hell, it might even make them want to go back and watch the prequels they've heard nothing but good things about, right? Either way, this would all be new backstory that plays off something hinted at in a previous movie. It's not something that newcomers of casual fans would have a hard time grasping. And speaking as a diehard fan, I find it a very satisfying origin for our new big bad guy. It also opens the door for tons of new books, comics, or maybe, if we're very lucky, an anthology movie that digs into the past of Plagueis and Palpatine. And yes, I realize we already have a book like that, that being Plagueis by James Luceno, and yes, it was an amazing book, but it was also an unfortunate casualty of Disney's wiping of the EU and is no longer considered canon. I, for one, would be all for Luciano getting another chance at this story and writing another book. In my opinion, he's one of the best Star Wars writers out there. Okay, well, that's my theory. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comments below and let's talk about it. And please feel free to subscribe to our channel where we talk about all things Star Wars.